Hi everyone, it's Sue. Welcome back. Today I'm using a freebie from my Facebook group. It's called Be Inspired Paper Inspirations. I'll put the link down below for you if you're interested in joining. We'd love to have you. I was just showing you that my printer is not printing the best at the moment. You can see that lady in the top left hand side there, she's got lines through her, so I'm probably going to have to give it a really good clean. So I included these two patterned vintage wallpaper patterns here as rectangles for the size of journaling cards. So that's what I'm intending to do with these pieces today. Sorry, can't get my words out. So I'm just trimming them down now, and we'll get into making some journaling cards. So I've cut them down, and now I'm just going to back them with some coffee dyed paper. I've just grabbed that out of my scrap bin behind me. I'm just using a stick glue. I just use the glue stick from Kmart here in Australia. I haven't had any real problem with it lifting, although having said that, I do actually sew the majority of my projects. So I do put a fair amount on there. But yes, as I said, I've never had any issues with it. So I'm just gluing that down. I'm going to smooth the backs of them out, cut them out, and then I'm going to probably end up sewing around them, I think. So now I'm just going to work out which pieces or which pictures I'm wanting to use, and I'm going to use the bottom one of these film strips. She's sitting at a piano. I think she's just beautiful. So I'm going to cut that out, and I'm going to use the lady that is standing in the bottom photo there as well. So I'll just go and trim them down, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I just had a little bit of a rummage around in one of my drawers behind me. I haven't really thought too much about what I want to do with these journaling cards, but I found this handmade paper, and I thought I might just tear this down just as a backing sheet for this particular photo, and I think I'm going to layer that behind the photo at this stage. So I'm just using my metal ruler there to just tear it because I just want a rough edge, and then I actually do have two pieces there, I realise soon, and then I'm going to just cut the bottom edge with my ruler, tear the bottom edge with my ruler as well. Okay, so I'm just going to do that. Try and work out a similar size border all the way around. So I'm pretty happy with that, and there I realised that the paper's quite thick and I've got two pieces instead of just one. And I'm going to go around with my scissors and just distress that paper a little bit more, just to make it a little rougher around the edges. I do actually have the Tim Holtz distress tool, but I can't find it in the mess on my desk at the moment. So it was quite rough with the scissors there, and you'll see some of the pieces have actually torn and curled up. I like that look. I'm going to add a little bit of ink now, and I'm just using the archival ink. I think it's Vintage Photo that I'm using. And I'm just going to roughly just go around the edges of that paper. So I'm just finishing up inking there. You can see it's just given it a little bit of a vintage look and taken the starkness away. Now I've decided that the photo actually needs to be distressed as well. So I'm just doing that all the way around. I did actually accidentally tear the top of that, but I think I like the look of it anyway. So I'm doing that, and I'm going to also add a crease into the photo just to make it look a little bit older. And I'll also add some ink around the edges. So I'm basically just trying to get rid of the white edges off that photo. And then I'm just going to add a large crease through the photo. I'm just going to distress the crease just so that it looks like it's been sitting in a box for quite a while. Add a bit of ink on the top, and then I'm going to add some aged tape as well, just to the bottom of the photo, just to give it another vintage element. So So with this age tape, I've just used alcohol ink pens, and when I use this tape and some of the pages get low, I just redo some more. It's great. It's on my desk and I'm finding that I'm using it all the time now. I love it. So I've just added that to the bottom of the photo, and I'm really happy with the way that it's looking at the moment. I'm just making sure that I am happy with that. I'm going to glue that photo down to the backing paper just to keep it in place. So I've decided to move on to the film strip photo while I have a think about what I want to do further. And I'm using this punch. It's a rectangular punch, and I'm going to really roughly punch those holes out so that they're not white pieces showing. So I'm just going to show you, I'll punch one out, and it's not going to be perfect, but you can see there it looks like more like an actual film strip now. If you don't have a rectangular punch, you could even just do a circle if you wanted to. So I'm going to go and do both sides of that, and I'm going to just add a little bit of ink if I find that I've left some white pieces showing, and I'll be back and I'll show you that in a second. So I finished punching out that film strip you'll see in the top left hand side there, and I decided that I wanted to sew the base cards. I'm very visual and I need to see what it's going to look like with the base card being completed. So I'm going around again with my scissors and just roughing up the edges, and I will also add some ink to that as well. Okay, so they're distressed and inked. Now I'm coming back to this one, and I've decided that I want to sew around the photo of the lady, so I'm just going to do that. So you can see with that, I have actually added a little bit of zigzag stitch here and there, just to add a little bit of texture to the photo. So I'm just having a little bit of a look now. I know that I've got some film strip somewhere, actual old film strip from my childhood days. And I've decided that I want to put one of those on that card as well. So I like this number, and I'm just not sure what is actually on the base of that, but I can't get it off, so I've decided I'm just going to have to leave that on there. So I want to try and have that number showing. Originally I thought I might put it on the top of the card, and then I've decided that I actually want to add it to the photograph. So I go off and stitch that to the photograph as well. So I've stitched that to the top there, and I've just found this little doily, thinking that I want to add a little bit of softness to the photo, and I really want the photo to be on a bit of an angle so that it's not just all going the one way. So I'll just be having a little bit of a fiddle around here and trying to work out what I want to do. I think I'm pretty happy with the way that that looks. So I'm going to get some fabric glue. That was a fly that just flew past then. I'm going to get some fabric glue and just stick that down in place. The doily's stuck down, and I've decided I'm just going to stick it down, stick the whole photo down and be done. And I'm really quite happy with this card. I always tend to put everything in straight lines, so I really enjoy the way that this looks with it on an angle. And you could hang something from that doily, like a bulb pin or something like that. I think that'd be really nice. I'm happy with that. Turned out quite well, I think. So I'm moving on to the second card now, and I really liked how that cream coloured doily softened the look of that journal card. So I've just picked up a little pink doily, and I'm going to cut it in half because I only want to use half of it. And then I think I might use some different papers to maybe layer underneath that. So I do actually find this parchment paper that I've coffee dyed at some stage and thought I might like to use that, but I pretty quickly changed my mind. I didn't like the look of the parchment paper. It really wasn't doing much for me. And I had this baby wipe that I had used to wipe up some rust colour ink, and I'm just peeling some of the background of it away. So it's come away and it's really raggedy looking, but I think I like that better underneath the photo. And then I also found some pink tissue paper. So this is tissue paper that I use in my mystery boxes. I love using this. I've used it quite a bit recently. So I thought I might just try that and layer that and just see how that looks. So there's a fair bit of fiddling around here until I get it to look the way that I want it to look. And I end up pulling away some of that straight edge of the baby wipe because it was just too, it just didn't fit with the rest of the baby wipe. It's quite fragile. So I'm trying to pull it away without tearing the whole piece to bits. I'm now crumpling up the tissue paper and I add a little bit of ink to that just to tone down the pink a little bit. I don't add a lot, just enough to sort of give it a little bit of a vintage colour. So I don't want it to be perfect sitting on the base card. So I'm scrunching it up and I'm just, once again, playing around with it until I get it to look the way I want it to look. So I'm pretty happy with that. I'm just going to tear off the base of that tissue paper and then I'm going to glue the pieces down. So I'm just using fabric glue here because it is sort of like a cloth. I thought it might glue a little bit better. Of course, nothing ends up being glued exactly where you want it to be glued. I had this little bit that was hanging off there, so I tried to glue that back down. Stuck on the end of the glue. I had glue everywhere, everything was sticking to everything. So just making sure that I'm happy with the way that it's sitting there. I'm going to check with the doily where I want to actually put that. So I'm gluing the tissue now, gluing it all in place, and then I'll actually glue the doily to the base of that film strip. So I've decided that I do want to put the doily on the bottom. I think it just balances the whole card out, and I'm just going to glue that to the base of the film strip. And then I'll glue the whole thing to the card base. Once again, you could add a bulb pin and some charms hanging from that as well, which I think would look really nice. and I'll probably end up doing that once I put it into a journal. But I did decide that I wanted to add maybe a word or something just above where the doily is tucked underneath the photo. And I've just grabbed my book of words that I stamped in a previous video. And I'm just going to choose one. I just want the top to be straight, and then I'm going to tear the bottom side and the two sides of this, and I will actually add a little applique pin to that as well. And a little bit of dark ink, of course. And I'm really rough with it. I don't mind if the ink gets onto the word. And these are the little applique pins that I like to use. So I'm just randomly placing that through that stamped word there, and I'm going to glue that down onto the base of the film strip. I think that just finishes it off quite nicely. So there's that one. Very vintage and rustic looking, I guess. And then that's the first one. So that's from the Be Inspired freebie. I hope you enjoyed that. If you wanted to join, the group link is below. We'd love to have you. Thanks so much for watching, guys. So that's the freebie there. Until next time, I hope you get a little bit of creative time in. See you soon. Bye.